From KUNC and the NPR network, this is In The NoCo. I'm Brad Turner, in today for Erin O'Toole. The Colorado Rockies have one of the most loyal fan bases in all of baseball, and that might be part of the problem. The Rockies are off to the worst start of any team in Major League Baseball's modern history. And yet the fans still show up. About 24,000 of them are at each game so far this year. That's been the story of the Rockies going back years. The team struggles, the fans keep coming, and the steady ticket sales mean ownership has little incentive to build a better team. So what's behind the unflinchingly loyal baseball fans here in Colorado? And are they starting to lose patience this season? To find out, we turn to Kevin Simpson of the Colorado Sun. He's been a season ticket holder since the Rockies' very first season, and he's written about why the fans stick around even as the Rockies have one bad season after the next.
Well, it's really more of a recent phenomenon to me. They were predictably subpar in the early seasons. You kind of expect that with an expansion team, but then they got competitive. They had, we had the Blake Street Bombers. There was a reason to come out and watch, but I don't recall things getting, to the point where we really started to look back and maybe analyze and identify the issues here until, the last 4 or 5 years when the team, has been so bad. And I think, we can look back with the benefit of hindsight and maybe see some factors of why the attendance continues to be so robust when, the team is anything but in terms of its performance.
Right. Despite those recent poor performing seasons, Coors Field has finished in the top 10 for overall ballpark attendance in the National League almost every season since 1993. How much of the Rockies' success and popularity is with the fan base is simply a matter of Coors Field being a very nice ballpark to visit?
It figures hugely into the equation, I think, because, as the team didn't really get better. Now we know 2007 was kind of an outlier in going to the World Series, and now we can see just exactly how much of an outlier.
Right. It's a long time ago now. Yeah.
So I think, yes, the venue figures tremendously into the equation because now as people settled into the reality of mediocre baseball at best, they come out for different reasons. They come out because it's a nice night out. It's a date night. And you can see good baseball, at least from one team, maybe not from both. And if you're still a Rockies fan, we all kind of want the home team to win. So, if the Rockies win, that's a bonus. But on the worst night, it's a nice night out. And I think people have kind of settled into that.
Right. You mentioned this a minute ago. When the Rockies play at home, it often feels like the visiting team has a stronger presence in the stands than the Rockies do. How unusual is that, and what do you think causes it?
Well, I think it's tremendously unusual. I grew up a St. Louis Cardinals fan and still go to some Cardinals games, and you will not walk into Busch Stadium and find the other teams flying their colors. You'll see a sea of red at Busch Stadium, but I happen to have a piece of the season tickets behind third base, behind the visitors' dugout. And oh my goodness, you go there for a Dodgers game. That's all there is. You'd think that you're in Chavez Ravine there at Dodger Stadium. There's so many Dodger fans. And, the reason for that, I think, is that the strong fan allegiances are going to take advantage of the fact that, there are tickets available. They can come out, have that great baseball experience, but also root for their team. And as we alluded to earlier, so many people from elsewhere that bring their allegiances with them. And the Rockies themselves have not performed to a level that inspires the kind of devotion that you see in the hot baseball markets.
So the Rockies at this moment are the worst team in baseball. The Monforts, who own the Rockies, ultimately control the franchise and the team's destiny. But how much credit or blame do you give the fans who keep showing up even when the team is doing terribly?
Yeah, I don't know if you'd call it blame, but I think a lot of fans do recognize that we're part of the problem, at least. As you mentioned, we did a series of stories about why the Rockies are so bad, and I focused on another season ticket group. And like me and my group, they were in on day one, all in, terrific baseball fans, still have their tickets. And they now are thinking, well, what do we have to do? Is there anything we can do short of giving up on our love of baseball in general to make something happen here?
Right.
And it's a conundrum. It's just a shame that Colorado Rockies fandom has sort of devolved into this, that, it's a nice night out. And if they win, okay. If they don't, oh, well.
The latest numbers show that Coors Field ranks 13th out of 15 stadiums in the National League for attendance this year. Do you get a sense that the fan base is getting fed up?
The true baseball fans are fed up. There's no doubt about that. But the question is, what do you do about it? And certainly ownership has been very resistant to change, even when it comes to just looking outside their own little baseball ecosystem to find expertise that might possibly be able to bring some fresh eyes to the particular issues of playing baseball at altitude and fielding a team that can be successful. But I don't see a lot of hope there, to be honest with you, because, again, what incentive is there for ownership to get out of its own way here?
Right. Kevin, what gives you hope that there are better days ahead for the Rockies, or that the fans will respond in a way that forces the franchise to field a better team?
Well, I wish I could say that I had a lot of hope for that. Again, the unfortunate thing is that over more than 30 years now, Rockies fans have come to expect this. We've got a mediocre at best baseball team, very little on the horizon. So we show up for a pleasant night at the ballpark and maybe to watch the visiting team and the stars and the excitement that they bring to the game.
Yeah. Kevin, what about the line in the song that goes root, root, root for the home team? Aren't fans supposed to support their team through thick and thin?
Well, yeah, in a perfect world, that's true. It's funny because when they take me out to the ball game during the seventh inning stretch, it's root, root, root for and then Rockies is what people are supposed to scream. But half the time, the other team's name gets yelled a little louder than the Rockies do.
Kevin Simpson of the Colorado Sun wrote a great story a while back about the Colorado Rockies fan base and what keeps them coming back to Coors Field despite the team's record. We'll drop a link to that story in our show notes and on our website at KUNC.org. That's it today for In The NoCo. I'm Brad Turner. Thanks for listening.